You're telling me they beat all of Elden Ring in 2 minutes and 42 seconds? I think that this is a cheat, right? Surely they're just cheating. This is a tool-assisted speedrun due to the lack of tool. What? You know, who's to say, really? I think it's just, they're saying tool-assisted. That sounds like cheating to me, personally. Shout-outs to Virezi for the task. Appreciate you. Mouse and keyboard are tools. Actually, very true, if you think about it. It's that task guy. We saw... Dude, Task has every world record. What's up with that? Why does Task have literally every world record? Also, I'm blocking the timer. Wait, huh? I'm sorry, what now? They're quitting out. Bro, they're... Okay. So, in Elden Ring, you can do these things called zips. I do know about this. I learned about this when the game first came out, because this game is very silly. Also, the game is very quiet. Hold on, let me fix that. Let me bump the volume, give you guys the auditory experience you deserve. So, if your walking animation overlaps with the shield stagger animation, I believe. Hold on. The game just forces you to just like zip. I don't know exactly why. It has to do with the animations overlapping of your walking animation ending and also the shield idle animation overlapping in a weird way. And you just fly. So they do this to fly here. The reason they don't die from fall damage, funny enough, is what we were talking about earlier in the stream. The way that this game calculates fall damage is not based off of how far you're falling or the velocity of where you're falling. All it does is it takes your your Y coordinate of where you started and the Y coordinate of where you end and does the math. So because you actually zip upwards and then fall down, but where you're landing is higher than where you started initially. If you start here, zip up, and then fall down here, yes, you fell a large amount, but you're still higher up than where you started. So the game's like, oh, you actually went up, therefore you can't die from fall damage. You can't receive fall damage because you went up. So because of that, you don't actually have to worry about fall damage. Oh, this is a force quit out wrong warp. Got it. So, Jesus fucking Christ. So if you if you die, and then while you are dying, you quit out of the game, like Alt F4, the game is in the process of trying to figure out where to send you after the death, but you cut the process short by quitting out of the game. So when you load back into the game is trying to figure out, oh shit, where are we supposed to put this guy? I don't know, just put him in that like default place, wherever. So whatever map you are in, there's a default like load zone that you're supposed to be in for every map, and it just loads that default state. So this is the default load for Liurnia, I guess. Because if the game doesn't know where to put you, it just puts you in those default states. That's an interesting zip. Anyways, more zipping. You can control the distance of the zip, I'm pretty sure, based off of how you decide to walk. Like if you walk right before zipping, it gives you like extra distance. Or if you bump into objects like what happened here. See how for one frame, you can see they're bumping into this object to stop their momentum. You could also bump into other objects to gain height. Elden Ring is a very silly game. And it's only been 50 seconds of game time, and guess where they are? The second to last area of the game. However, this is an intentional design part of the game where this is meant to be like a preview section where it's like, yo, this place is crazy. I just warped to some random ass place. I'm on an island and it's going crazy, right? But if you do the same force wrong warp, quit out trick again, it puts you to Crumbling Farum Azula proper. Like this is the end of the game. The island we were on before was a preview of the end of the game. This is actually the end of the game. I'm not sure what the quit outs are for. Maybe it's to align the animations properly. It could be to reset the character so that way the animation startups are the same every time. That's my guess. Maliketh incoming. Yes, we are going to be seeing Maliketh very, very soon. Everyone knows that Gronk and Maliketh are the boss of the of this area. So once we're just zipping to get there real quick. There he is. There's Maliketh. Don't worry about all those items and stuff. What's happening here? This is probably the part that most people get the most upset about. It's like, okay, zipping to get around fast, that's fine in a speedrun. That makes sense. But what happens is, if you load in a boss fight and then fall while the boss is loaded, you will eventually fall far enough that you deload the platform the boss is standing on, and then the boss will start to fall as well. And every boss in the game has the ability to die to fall damage, the same as you do. Their fall damage counter is just like an internal clock where if you fall long enough, you just die from fall damage. The bosses have that as well. So what they're doing is they're loading in the boss and then leaving the arena such to deload them, or sorry, to deload the area around them so they die from fall damage, which is what's happening here. I don't know why the Beast Clergyman's health bar is showing up, because he's already dead. That I have no fucking clue. That's probably just some weirdness to go because he left the room and then came back. That's my guess. So even though we are dead, so is Maliketh. Maliketh also dies along with us, and the game has a failsafe where if you kill Maliketh, even though you are dead, the game will still warp you to the end of the game, because that's what triggers the final sequence of the game, which is Langdale, the Ashen Capital. Once you kill Maliketh, the Ashen Capital section loads in. And then, just like we did with Maliketh and Beast Clergyman, you load in the boss, you zip away. We specifically loaded in the final boss. The final boss is behind this wall that we zipped to originally. This wall that we are standing on loaded in the boss because we were standing right next to where the boss spawns in, if I remember correctly. And then we zip far enough away that now the boss is falling. One thing you'll note here, if you can maybe listen to it, that little whoosh sound effect is actually the player slashing their sword, because if you do an action while you are falling, you can reset the fall timer insta-kill. So they are falling for the maximum amount of time and then resetting the timer by slashing their sword, so that way the boss will die from fall damage before you actually die from fall damage, which is what's happening here. So, funny enough, we killed the first phase of Elden Chad, Giga Chad man. We killed first phase, but we also killed Elden Beast in the background, which is the final boss. And they do a frame perfect quit out the same exact time that the Elden Beast is actually considered dead. So that way they can just warp to the final area. And that's it. That's time. That's the whole game, guys. We did it. Elden Ring. You know that game that you spent hundreds of hours exploring and playing? They did it in 2 minutes. What are you, bad? You can't beat the game in 2 minutes? Sounds like a skill issue. Lamau. Look at this dude. Can't beat Elden Ring in 2 minutes. As Miyazaki intended. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that task guy's really good at the game. Melania, who? You know, it is what it is.